Everyone. Welcome to this evening's post-match media availability following Nashville SC's 2-0 win on the road at Chicago Fire. Please alert me through the chat or use the hand raise function if you have a question. We'll begin with an opening statement from Coach on tonight's result.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, obviously the result is positive for us. Coming here isn't easy. I thought Chicago had a really good game plan coming into the match. We obviously had a really slow start. Looked like a team that had been off for 14 days. And we just had to get up to speed. But really proud of the response of the players and the solutions that came into the game. Andy at halftime, Johnny Perez, Patrick Yazbek, and then even Matt Corcoran coming in at the end to do a job. That's what a team win is. Winning on the road in the MLS is difficult, and we're glad to take the 3 points home.
We'll start with Ben Wright. Ben, you can do one question at a time. We'll come back again.
Yeah, BJ, I wanted to just get your thoughts on kind of the way that you guys closed out the game. I think a lot of times we would see a team on the road when you're up 2-0 kind of just sit deep and kind of just hope to see it out. But you guys were pretty proactive and really at times kind of suffocated Chicago. Just what can you say about that approach and what it says about the way that your team wants to play?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give credit to the players being brave, right? And wanting to go out and whether it's chase the third goal or really be putting pressure on the opponent. So I give those guys a ton of credit for being brave and being aggressive. It's definitely something, I think in our last 14 days, when you look back at the month of May, some things we needed to adjust. And that's the areas that we talk about working on. We train it, but the guys go out and execute it. And I thought they were really good with putting some pressure and then just being, again, brave on the ball. I thought we were able to kill the game off with long sequences with the ball.
We'll move next to Jacob Shames, followed by Valaire and then Claudio.
Yeah, BJ, I guess how big were the pair of early saves by Joe Willis in the first 15 minutes? While you mentioned it looked like you were having a hard time maybe settling into the game, coming off 2 weeks off. How big were those saves to help get settled into the game while it looked like Chicago was getting some pretty good chances?
Yeah, thankfully Joe doesn't look like he had 14 days off. Big saves for us, and again, we just didn't come out with the right intensity. Also, listen, we have to give Chicago credit. They're a well-coached team that had a really good game plan in that first half, and so we had to sort of weather that storm and make some adjustments. But yeah, I mean, that's what you want from your goalkeeper. Their main job is to keep the ball out of the goal, and getting a clean sheet tonight, a lot of credit goes to Joe.
Yeah, BJ, you mentioned you had long sequences to kind of kill off the game or build something before the goals even came in. But in the first half, it didn't seem like you guys were able to do that as well. There were a lot of short spells, more so than longer spells on the ball for both teams. What changed at halftime that kind of allowed you to have longer spells on the ball?
Yeah, we just had to change the structure, Valaire. In the second half, we were able to get our center backs a little bit more narrow, roll Gaston Brugman a little bit wide, push Andy high, bring Ahmed into the pocket, and actually move Hani into the 10 pocket. So I thought it gave us a little bit more balance and a little bit neutralized their ability to build pressure right on our center backs, which was happening in the first half. So again, credit to the guys for taking that information in and doing it. And I thought that gave us a little bit more closer connections to move the ball quickly, but also an opportunity to secure the ball and control the tempo of the game.
BJ, why was this a good game for Gaston? I thought he had a good game actually, but why was this a good game for him to be a starter in your mind?
Yeah, I thought Gaston played really well tonight. A guy who I think shows always the quality with the ball. And then I think you saw the commitment off the ball, up high, pressing behind the two forwards, running back, winning second balls, tackling, loose balls, and really helping us, with and without the ball. So, I think his energy combined with Eddie's really sort of, I think gave us long periods of control in the midfield.
We'll move to Nick Frazier.
BJ, when it comes to Ahmed Kassim's performance tonight, just your assessment on his game and just, I guess, for younger players, when they come back from a break like this, is it just difficult to get them back in the groove, or is it you kind of force them into the lineup to kind of get them, I guess, back in there, the groove they were in before the break?
Yeah, I think it's not young players, all the players left today. I thought we were just a little bit, again, a little bit slow coming out of on the first half. Against a team that had a really good game plan, and really, came out with a lot of energy, and we didn't match it. But thankfully, we were able to weather that storm and respond in the second half. Like I said, I thought, specifically to Ahmed, I thought, on the right hand side in the first half, it wasn't set up for a ton of success. That's my fault. And then I thought, there was some bright moments in the second half.
Ben Wright with a follow up, and then Claudio.
Yeah, BJ, you already touched a little bit on Andy. I just wanted to kind of go a little bit deeper, just the impact he had coming off the bench at halftime. He was involved, obviously, in both the goals, but really felt like he was important in kind of those longer sequences of possession. Just how important has he been, not just this game, but overall this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think Andy, his ability in the final third is what probably gets him a lot of that recognition with assists. But it's really, I think, his ability to kind of slow the ball when it gets switched to him. And then he's able to sort of create overloads and bring teammates in and create those combinations in the wide areas. And then if you switch it again, like now you start to get the opponent like going side to side. And again, he's a tricky player to play against. So guys don't want to get close to him, and more space for him is more space for others. And then that's how you end up seeing those final actions.
BJ, when you look at a game like tonight for Kuipers, a guy that's so difficult to mark, he's a goal scorer big time, and then you see the job that both Mayer and Jason did tonight. What does it tell about the defense's effort for those two guys?
Yeah, I mean, Hugo Kuipers is a very good player. Again, a guy who scores a lot of goals, but you can see the way he does hold up play, timing to come down and lay balls off. So a massive challenge, and I thought, the center backs handled him pretty well. And I think it's not just the center backs in terms of their ability to win duels, but also their ability to communicate to the players in front of them and try to block those passing lanes. So again, I think, a good second half response by the whole team. Defenders and goalkeepers get a lot of credit for the clean sheets. And then, for us, we'll take it as a team. It's nice to get back on the zeros.
Jacob Shames with the final question for Coach.
Yeah. It seemed like Eddie Tagseth had another, pretty solid all-around game with, some key passes, a few key interceptions, just being kind of ever against. I guess, what did you make of his performance and specifically his role in helping you guys keep the shutout?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get spoiled around here, but it's just another standard Eddie performance. A guy who puts in shifts with and without the ball, covers a lot of ground, and makes players around him better.